Nick Sirianni Live, presented by Premier Orthopedic.
Nick, obviously, the past couple weeks haven't gone your guys' way, and obviously losing brings frustration. How do you make sure you have your players channel that frustration in a positive way?
Yeah, I always want to stay to the process. There's times the ball bounces a certain way, and you don't win the game, or you don't coach well enough, or you don't play well enough. And so it's about identifying issues. It's about identifying strengths and getting better and sticking to your process. I know that's boring, but that's truly the things that we try to live in.
Nick, I understand that you don't want to assign blame publicly to anyone, but the accountability portion of your program, is that still the same behind the scenes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nick, it's not been often in your career you've lost back-to-back games. The times it has happened, I'm wondering if there's any lessons you learned from it that you feel like you can use now to try to maybe get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, again, you go back to, you're always working on identifying your issues and identifying your strengths and like working to get better from it. That's what we do. That's the things you think about. Every team's a little different. Every message could be a little bit different based off of where you are or where the team is. And so, I think where confidence comes from is your process and the things that you go through on a weekly basis, the things that you can control on a weekly basis to put yourself in the best position to succeed. Confidence also comes from past experiences and knowing that you've been there, you've done these things before. Again, the other thing that I say a lot is that, adversities are going to happen. They happen for every team in the NFL. They happen for every team. They happen for every person. And you can really look back on you think back on your old experiences. You look back at adversities that we've had. I'm thankful for those. Obviously this is a new year and new things, but I'm thankful for 23. I'm thankful for how 24 started off because it put us in a position to do what we ultimately wanted to accomplish our goal last year. So, that is a mindset that is really critical to have, that adversities that you go through make you stronger if you allow it to. And so, yeah.
Jalen said he was going to take ownership after the game. How's he gone about doing that the past several days?
I think all our guys have done a great job of taking ownership. Our coaches, our players, every one of our guys is in that boat because they all have a strong desire to win and get better, to identify issues, to identify strengths and get better. Like I keep saying, again, when you come in, it's about your process. I know I've said this 3 times now, but it's like you come in to work and you get back to work. It's so when the ownership happens on Mondays when you watch the tape together, that we get in here to answer further of your question, accountability, that's never changed of, coming in here and telling the truth off the tape, and then going and fixing those issues as the week goes on. So I felt that not only from Jalen, I felt that from all of our guys. And that's a mindset that's huge, that it's going to be really important. It's so important to stay, when the noise or when the, adversity hits, to stay true to your standard of tough detail together. When everything seems wavy around you, you got to focus on that and stay true to that and have something that grounds you, because if you don't, you're going to be reaching every which way for answers. And so that's really what I think our team's done. And Jalen, I know you asked in particular, him, all our guys.
And talked about the level of autonomy that he has after the game. What ways have you seen that grown this year?
What do you mean by that?
Well, autonomy, I mean, that's the word that he used. It can go a couple different ways, but level of responsibility that he has on the field, way that he's controlling the offense, what ways have you seen that grow?
Yeah, he's their quarterback, so he's got ability to do things that he needs to do, whether that's with the protection, whether that's with a run game check, whether that's with a pass game check or a route checked off to something he sees. I think he has a really good feel of seeing that in a game. making plays off of that. And then I think he does a really good job of, letting the plays come to him and with what's in there and making those things work too. So, yeah, you always go through a season. I wouldn't say, hey, this one's 25%, this one's 15%. It changes game to game. But he sees something on the field. He has the ability to get to what he needs to get to. And you're good with that because, he's right a lot of the times of what he's seeing. He's the one out there playing. So, different game in, game out, different in season every once in a while too. So, but I think they naturally kind of, play out throughout a season that, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 plays a game that the quarterback has to get you into the right play. And that's playing quarterback.
Hey, Nick, getting back to your answer to Elliot's question about dealing with adversity and growing from it and getting strength, is that something that you're talking about the players? Is that something you experienced too? Do you think it has that effect?
It's all of us. Oh, heck yeah. It's all of us. Again, I think we've shared our stories together as, this is part of, connecting and togetherness. Like, I know a lot of the guys' stories of their adversities through their life, whether it's their football journey or whether that's their life journey, and they know a lot of mine. That's part of the togetherness. Like when you truly know somebody, and know what they've been through. But and that's all the coaches, it's everybody. And are you asking me that I have that? Is that what you're?
Have that effect on you?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I like I said, I can't tell you, like, I'm not looking at the 24 season and saying, oh, I didn't, like, I'm in that too, but it's like every situation. And sometimes in life, you can't look back and be like, man, I went through a lot of times you can look back and say, I went through this for this, and it's clear. And sometimes it's not clear. But adversity makes you dig down even deeper. Now this is a hungry football team and a hungry coaching staff, and I know I'm hungry. And we're looking for that even in wins as well. That's why I say the process has to remain the same, but there are sometimes that adversities make you reach down deeper. And to me, it's like, you can have two mindsets there. You can have a mindset of defeat, or you can have a mindset of get up and fix and identify issues and identify strengths and get better from it. I think that doesn't mean that you're perfect in that, and you don't have those moments of, man, what are we going to do here? But if you're always constantly getting up over and over again in your life, that's just your way, that's your mindset, and that's what we try to preach, and that's what we talk about, and that's what I see our team and our coaches and all of us doing.
Nick, we haven't asked about Parks Frazier and Scott Leffler a lot lately. They were the two outside hires to add to the contribution on your side. I mean, how has that been working with them behind the scenes as you guys have worked through your offense?
Yeah, good coaches, really good coaches. You knew that going in with all the work that you did with the interview process, and it's not the interview process, then it's the vetting, talking to everybody that's ever worked with them, players, coaches. Obviously, when you've worked with somebody before, like we have with Parks, the day in, day out flow of how that goes. Both been really valuable to our team and our process. Like I said, I think they're both fantastic coaches. That's why we hired them. And then I feel like every day I see them work, whether that's in the classroom with the players, whether that's in a staff meeting or a offensive meeting, or whether that's on the field. You get more and more confirmation each day, because I think those guys are doing a fantastic job.
What makes Brian Flores so difficult to deal with?
He's been a good coordinator in the NFL for a long time, learned under a lot of really good coaches, and then has made it, his system, and a lot of respect for him. He creates a lot of issues, creates a lot of chaos. I think he's got smart. I look around their team. I think he's got smart football players, and that's a credit to him as a coach of getting them ready within their scheme and the things that they do. I think they're fundamentally sound, which is always a sign of a good football coach. Got a lot of respect for Kevin O'Connell too, and the things that he's done, and the way I see their teams play. I'm going to look at the tape and say, I'll know that this team's well coached based off of their fundamentals and things like that, and I see that on this football team. But both have good schemes. Like I said, create a lot of issues. and got a lot of respect for Coach Flores.
In the spring and summer, you downplayed some of the questions about the second cornerback spot. 6 games in, why do you think that hasn't stabilized yet?
I think there's been elements in periods of good football. I believe in those guys. I believe in our scheme. I believe in those guys to go out there and compete and be in coverage. Like, I think when a corner gives up a play, it can appear that it's just on him, right? Because they're on an island out there. And we know what we signed up for when we said we're playing corner or receiver or whatever position it was. But there's been elements of good football. Just as a team, though, Zach, we need to be more consistent as a team, as coaches, as players, because there's been ups and downs in our game at every position, not just there. But I'm confident in the play. I'm confident in of those guys, the work that they put in each and every practice, their skill set, and I'm still pleased with that room of who we have in that room. And sometimes their contributions come in defense. Sometimes their contributions come on special teams. That's the beautiful thing about this game is it takes everybody in different roles. And I'm looking forward to getting out there in the practice field today and seeing them get better and the work that they put in and get ready for a new week. And having some we've had adversities. It's not just at that position. So. Always look forward to the response.
You said sometimes players before plays, but when do plays matter, and do you feel like you guys have had better plays than the teams that you faced?
Well, players before plays, but it doesn't mean you're separating out plays. You still got to think about the defense that they're running and how you get guys open and how you help them get open themselves. But it always will come down to players first. But that, when I say that, that doesn't mean that the plays don't matter either. You know what I mean? It all matters in this game. In the parity of this game, it all matters. Like I said, I think I've been very clear. Like, hey, when we need to do a better job of helping the guys be in positions to succeed, and then we have to execute. It's never just a one thing. This is it. This is you're identifying issues. Obviously, I wouldn't share those issues in here. But to go back again to Dave, your point, it's not like you identify issues and then you stay quiet about it, right? That's the accountability piece of going in there. And then again, like it's always going to come down to, did we help them make plays? Did we get our percentage as coaches and did we execute?
Kevin said that
There was a good offensive meeting on Monday with communication between players and coaches. I wanted to get your perspective on that and also on I guess the line between getting player input, but also ensuring there's not too many cooks in the kitchen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is football. So this is, all input. Like, again, in the building, for instance, if I'm making a decision on practice, like I got to have the feel of what I think we need. But I'm always going to, inquire with other people about that, with our strength staff, with Howie, with our with our position coaches, with our trainers. So it's the same thing, it's the same thing when you're identifying issues. That's our job as coaches to figure out what the issues are, but then you talk through everything. Everybody has a little bit different vantage point based off of what they've experienced or what their view of everything is. And so you take all the input, but at the end of the day, we all have jobs to do. So at the end of the day, the offensive staff, myself, have to, take all the information and listen. You always want people to know they're being listened to. I think that's a really important part of leadership. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's decisions that have to be made. And at the end of the day, when the coaches have to make those decisions and take all that input. So I think to answer your question, it's both. But at the end of the day, the coaches have to come up and say, all right, this is this is what we're hearing. This is what we're seeing. And this is the plan of action.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Nick Sirianni Live, presented by Premier Orthopedic.